Hello, and welcome to week 10, where I am talking into my very exciting microphone. So this week, I have labeled our content geeky books. And by this, I mean science fiction and fantasy, which are two areas of YA that I never read as a kid. I mean, Time Cat by Lloyd Alexander, that was the only one. I've always been a sucker for time travel. But I did start reading Kristen Cashore's Graceling a few years ago, and that turned me, and there was no looking back from there. So our four novels this year are all big fatties, but they're all really good. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, which is going to be made into a Netflix, I think it's Netflix or Hulu. They're making it into TV, which I'm always a big fan of. I know other people get frustrated by that. Then Strange the Dreamer by Lanny Taylor. She won the Prince Award for some short stories, I think, a few years ago. And she also has another series. There are 2 volumes in the Strange the Dreamer series, and she has another series with 3 that I loved. Daughter of Smoke and Bone took me by surprise. Then Neal Shusterman's Scythe, which is, there's 1 or 2 more in that series. And In Other Lands by Sarah Rees Brennan. Now, this one is a standalone that she wrote as a joke to take on fantasy novel tropes, and she just blogged it. She writes other more serious fantasy, and it just took off. And I heard it described as, what if Harry Potter had a terrible personality? And kind of what it is. It's very funny, but definitely touches on the same sort of things that you're going to see in these types of books. So I talk a little bit about science fiction versus fantasy, and what are the distinguishing characteristics of each. And then I talk about fandoms and my nerdy family. And I just want to tell you that currently sitting across the dining room table from me, my husband is building Legos, a giant Lego of, what is it of, dear?
Lunar Lander.
The lunar lander for Apollo 11. And he's giving a talk on Apollo 11 at the public library today because he's truly the best kind of nerd there is. I have a picture of my one cosplay. No, that's not true. I do cosplay every Halloween. I guess everybody does cosplay on Halloween. It's always Harry Potter related. And then I talked about boys. I talked about boys. But getting boys to read, it's rough. I think I have 2 like hardcore readers that will read everything, and they're both sci-fi fantasy guys at my high school. Neither one of my kids is a huge reader of traditional fiction, but they read comic books and they read the internet. There's a lot of reading going on. All right, so you know the drill. Don't forget to work on your final project. There are 3 articles and a website this week for reading. You can read all 3 of those articles. There's no heavy lifting there, and they're all quite interesting. And then take a look at Guys Read. It's been under construction for a while, but you can sort of backdoor in by I put the link for the About page, and you can just take a look. So that's it. The papers seem to be going well. People are getting the idea that you need to pick a theme and follow it through. We're going for the deep dive. We're looking for literary criticism that respects you don't have to like the book that you read. And as I said to somebody who didn't last week, sometimes it's more interesting if you don't like the book that you read, but you have to respect the form. And so the way that we show that we do that is by looking at it seriously as not always seriously. There have been a couple that had funny touches to them, but looking at it critically, I guess, is what I'm going for. I believe that is all that I have to tell you about today. Thanks for your patience this week with my grading. I was at the Institute for Digital Literacy at the University of Rhode Island, which was mind completely blown. It was great, and I recommend the program. And then Tuesday, I leave to drive across the country for a month, so it will continue to be sporadic, but it will happen. So I appreciate your patience. If you have any questions, you can email me in Canvas or at my Salem State email. And actually, I kind of prefer you email me in Canvas because then I have a record of everything. My Salem State email is kind of a messy mess. All right, have a great week. Enjoy your journey into the unknown and stay cool.